Dark web users, was there ever a point in your use that you felt you were genuinely in danger? What happened?
Last month, I bought a mystery box from the dark web just for fun. There were a few butter knives, an old DVD player in working condition, one doll, and some other non-significant things. I threw everything away except the DVD player because I had some of my old CDs I wanted to check. So I connected the player to my TV and did my work. It was almost 11 o'clock at night. I turned off the TV in the room and went to bed. Around 2 o'clock, I woke up as I was thirsty and went to the kitchen. Along the way, I passed in front of the DVD player. The room was dark, and from the corner of my eye, I saw a faint red light coming from the DVD player. I got scared as the player was no longer connected to the circuit. I quickly turned on the lights and with the help of a screwdriver opened up the DVD player. What was inside was probably the worst thing that ever happened to me. There was a miniature camera with a little battery attached to it. I quickly removed the small battery and put that camera in a dark box. My first instinct was to call the police, but I waited till morning. Next day, I took that camera to my friend's shop to check what type of camera it was and if it had recorded anything. I found out that the camera was not in working condition, or maybe the camera broke when the product was delivered. But the camera was designed so that it records videos without any voice. Up to 24-hour videos can be recorded with it, and the small battery provides enough energy that it can provide the camera a life of about 8 hours on turn-on. The way this camera was set up so that when the DVD player is connected, the camera automatically starts. This was a sick joke which failed due to low quality of products. I was so relieved that the camera broke in the process. I called the police, documented the entire episode, and threw the camera.
I was a dark web user. It wasn't scary considering I knew how to make sure to stay out of trouble and keep secure. You see, when I was browsing the dark web, very surface level, no clue how the next part happened, I was on a simple video player that lets me watch shows that have been taken off Netflix, or shows that aren't available in my country. At one point I was asked by my parents to go get some groceries as they were cooking enchiladas. Here's where it went wrong. I turned off my monitor and made sure it was locked, and didn't turn off my PC fully. I put on shoes and went to my nearby grocery store. When I came home, I went back to my room to find my little brother, 11 at the time, on my computer with the camera on and talking to some guy. He had multiple coverings over his face, some type of net-like fabric, and was talking via chat. I freaked out. I found out later my little brother had apparently logged into my PC as he knew my password because he played Minecraft often on my PC and clicked on a pop-up that led him here, where he was talking to a guy. My older brother's defense mode activated, and I got him out of the camera, turned it off, and immediately typed in chat, "We are alerting the authorities. Leave immediately." I saw him typing something. His shoulders were moving about as if he was typing on the keyboard, and proceeded to start to leave. As I clicked the confirmation button to leave, I can still remember that exact moment. On the right of the word confirm, to leave, I saw the chat box, and was only able to read one word before I left, address. I immediately shut off my computer and put multiple layers of black tape over my camera. I then turned to my brother and asked why he was there and who that guy was, but he started crying as I had raised my voice. My mind was still panicking, as I don't know how long he was there, but eventually my parents came and asked why he was crying. I explained the situation, including a brief explanation of what the dark web is, and I saw their faces going white. My stomach felt like it was going to come up any second, and I just sat there for a bit wondering what to do. Eventually I told my brother what actually happened, including how that man could have found out who we are, our names, our address. Me and my parents called our local authorities, and they said they couldn't do much as that person was anonymous and we have no video of it. I should have taken a photo of the guy before leaving. They sent a patrol car to our house and asked what happened. After the situation calmed a bit, we were able to convince the authorities to have a patrol car out of our house for the night. I threw out my PC after that, monitor and all, and still have some anxiety about going on the internet, and have even made sure that my family's privacy comes first and foremost. I remember not sleeping that night and staying in my living room watching TV all night. It was probably the most terrifying thing I've ever experienced, and I still have anxiety over internet usage among other things. I genuinely felt in danger, and have never touched the dark web again.
Usually, the most dangerous thing on the dark web is your own stupidity. As long as you take the necessary precautions, Nothing is going to happen to you, unless you fall prey to some scam. That said, there was one time where I clicked on a then trustworthy seeming link. At first, everything was normal. Then the screen exploded into flashy images with a video, but nothing else happened. Alright, just some edgy website design, let's see where it goes, I thought. Suddenly my file folder got opened, and I got a message box to verify the installation of a file with a name in some foreign language. I noped right out of there and shut my PC down for the day.
About a year ago, I moved into a nice house that my grandpa had built himself. I was in the basement one day. The door was outside the house like one in those tornado movies. Anyway, there were some plastic containers on the shelves with holes cut into them. There were 4 or 5 of these open crates, and there was hay inside like there was supposed to be some kind of animal in there, but with no way of keeping it there since the sides were cut out. I asked my grandpa about it, and he said the previous renters were very paranoid about everything and almost never paid their rent. Behind one of the top shelf crates, there was a computer. I told my grandpa about the computer, and he said the owner skipped town, so he couldn't get their contact details to come get it. I took the computer upstairs and plugged it in just to see if it worked. Turned right on. No password. The only icon on the desktop was Tor. For those that don't know, Tor is a browser you can use to access the dark deep web. The computer had a 4 terabyte hard drive. I took a brief look into the files. In the video files, there was this massive list of videos, which isn't unusual until I saw the name of each video. It instantly sent chills throughout my body. One was named Allison, another named Tiffany or something like that. I clicked on one of the videos hoping it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. It was a 15-minute video of black screen and no audio. Towards that point, I felt like I was being watched, although there wasn't a webcam. I don't think I'd ever want to meet the previous renters.
I was once browsing the dark web black market for fun and clicked on how much it would cost to buy someone. And then it took me to a really sketchy website and my computer stopped all audio. I had music playing, and after 10 minutes it started making a siren sound super loud. And then my internet just went off. Not using dark web anymore.
I may have successfully purchased drugs on the dark net. I followed directions from Google on how to access it and how to encrypt Bitcoin addresses. The material arrived from outside the US. I was stoked and excited that I actually had completed it. Tested my drugs and all was great until I realized that I did not use a VPN. I was scared for about a month. One night, I got my things ready to do some gaming. I connected my laptop to my big screen via HDMI. Left the laptop open facing me. I turned on my Bluetooth headphones and had some trouble connecting to the laptop. After tinkering with it, I got the sound working. I was in the middle of a game when the scene on screen froze. Although the picture stopped moving, I was still hearing sounds. I heard loud creaks like boots walking over wooden floorboards. The more I started paying attention to the sound, the more I began to hear clearer. I looked directly towards the laptop and hear, "I think he can hear us. He's looking at the camera." My heart dropped and I flung towards the laptop to close it. I unplugged it all and tossed it aside. Nothing came of it to this day, but that messed me up for a while.
Me and my brother were camping and decided to go on the dark web out of curiosity. Afterwards, we started watching Netflix before going to sleep. At one point, I noticed my webcam light was still on. My brother and I tried manually turning it off, but it didn't work, so we decided to open the web browser back up. As soon as we did, we realized some creepy dude had been watching us the whole time. It scared the heck out of us. He immediately left the chat. Needless to say, we didn't sleep in our tent that night.
I used to get the stuff delivered to my dorm. Usually packages don't come directly to the room, students need to go pick it up from the dorm's building office. For my 3rd or 4th order, I got an email saying that a package had arrived for me, but when I went to pick it up I was told that my package was in the dean faculty's office. I got freaked out. I also for some reason was getting a lot of spam calls, which just added to my anxiety. I was scared. I didn't go to pick it up for like 4 days, meanwhile kept getting emails from the dean office to come to get my package. I didn't go because I thought that it was a setup. But after a couple of days I decided to go get it. I had paid a lot of Bitcoin for that stuff and wanted to consume what I had ordered. When I got there I realized that I was freaking out for no reason. The people holding on to my order couldn't have been nicer. They couldn't give me a reason why that package was delivered there and not to my dorm. Big relief.
Not a dark web story, but I wanted to install Windows 7 on my old PC. So I installed the file from some website and everything was working good for like 1 hour, but then porn started appearing on my screen and I was like, what's going on? Chatbox opened and the camera turned on. I heard the voice, which told me I have nice eyes, and after that I just turned off the PC and did a clean install of Windows. Freaked me out for good.
I was a casual user of the dark web for a while, and got pretty big into it and started buying slightly bulky packages of drugs. If you knew the markets, then you would know one website, which could be described as the best of the best, the Amazon of drugs and fraud. However, it went down mysteriously one day, and everyone assumed the owners just scammed everyone for their Bitcoin, but in the background it was actually seized by the DEA. Everyone flocked to a new site which had some sketchy design features, but it was the next best alternative. Turns out the Dutch police took over the site and, with cooperation of multiple governments, ran a drug distribution onion site with over $1 million of transactions for around a month. They were gathering information from unsuspecting users, including me, who bought with faulty security practices. Now this is where I started freaking out. Imagine trafficking drugs through the mail and watching the Attorney General making an announcement live on TV that he was going to crack down all website users because they have been gathering data for over a month. They closed the site and put up a banner in its place saying everyone who has purchased will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law during his live speech. I was freaking out for a month as many arrests did occur. Luckily, I guess I wasn't important enough and nothing happened to me.
In college, some friends and I ordered a 100 sheet of acid using Bitcoin to our college P.O. boxes. We got pretty terrified when it didn't arrive when it should have. We thought it was found by USPS, our own mail service, or the DEA. We were paranoid. Turns out they just shipped it later than they said. We got our 100 tabs, but that was a very stressful week for all of us.
I once bought a bit of weed and I received a blackmail letter threatening me with awful things if I didn't send one Bitcoin, $1,000 at the time. It was the worst day of my life. There were like 7 awful threats. The guy had my address and name. The reason I chose not to send the money is that I read it's impossible to verify who sent the Bitcoins, so there would be no way to prove I actually made the payment. I was scared, but nothing ever happened. Still cleaned every single corner of my house and computer though.